Champagne, crab, and a vodka martini.
I know, on a Friday
afternoon. Do I have to sleep with you? Because I'm up for it. It's totally this threesome is what I want to be.
You're there. You're there.
Hello, I'm Nick Grimshaw.
And I'm Angela Hartnett.
And this is Dish from Waitrose. Welcome. Today, we have round for a lovely bit of crab. The one and only Elizabeth Day! Hi, Elizabeth.
Hi, Elizabeth.
Hi, this is so fun already.
I'm
I'm having the
excited.
best time.
Well, we're recording this on a Friday.
Yes.
It's afternoon, and we're starting with a sensational order from yourself, Dirty Martini.
Yeah, it's just on my rider, wherever I go
Wherever
now.
she goes.
Nice.
I demand a vodka martini, dirty, preferably served by a Michelin-starred chef. And
Chilled
that's
first.
just me. I'm a humble girl from Epsom.
She's just this girl. Well, cheers and
Cheers.
welcome
Thank you for
to
having
Dish.
me.
Lovely to have you.
Cheers. Cheers.
It's a Friday afternoon.
Oh, yeah, here we go.
Oh my God, that's so good.
Very good. Well done, Nick.
The olive, the hint of olive is just right.
And it's got to be that ice cold, chilled
Ice cold,
glasses.
yeah.
So
Very
good.
good.
Room temperature,
The
absolutely vile.
smoothness.
Yes.
Oh,
Wrong
it's
on
going to
many
be
levels.
dangerous.
Delicious. Really going to be dangerous.
Let's get you talking now.
Now we're excited to have you on because you are someone that loves food. You're obsessed with
Love
food. We have a quote here that you are obsessed with pasta. And are you obsessed with eating pasta? Are you obsessed with cooking pasta or all
Eating,
forms?
just exclusively
Just the eating. Yeah. Just the eating.
Well, as Angela knows, I'm lucky enough to be married to a man who loves cooking, and not only that, Angela Hartnett is his hero because not only is she an amazing chef, I don't know if you've heard, but his family, he's half Italian, and his Italian half come from the same exact part of Italy that Angela's family comes from, so Bardi.
Yeah.
And Justin is an amazing cook and loves cooking. His grandmother taught him to cook, and we still have some of her pots.
Yeah.
And he makes his pasta from scratch. So I'm incredibly spoiled.
Oh,
Before
gosh.
I met him, I used to cook more, and then I met him, and I've become completely incapable. I'm just like an amoeba, who just swans around the house and is fed, and and so he does most of the cooking.
That's ideal.
Got it made
So
there.
ideal. Now, we must share our condolences with you because we heard some quite sad news that you are allergic to both oysters and caviar.
Isn't that tragic?
Yeah, really
Very
sad.
tragic.
I'm such a woman of the people in my allergies, though.
Yeah.
Because I just
It was very first world problems.
She's relatable in allergies.
Can I tell you how I discovered that? Because
I would love to know.
It wasn't always the case.
Yeah.
So when I first started dating Justin, we met on Hinge on the apps, and it's a second marriage for both of us. And so we've been around the block a bit. And
Only one lap.
well, for him, several. And his assistant at the time, so he's a businessman, he runs his own business, and his assistant was like, she really wanted this relationship to work. And so he would
Peace of mind. He's got to find someone. I
get him off my back.
Yeah.
And so Justin would ask her to like book restaurants for our first few dates, and she had incredible but expensive taste, and we ended up going for a lot of tasting menus, which both of us hate.
Oh, God,
we don't like long drawn out, like just foam on every plate. And the first sort of 3 dates like that I went on with him, I projectile vomited afterwards, like throughout the night, and it got quicker and quicker. The gap between the meal ending and me needing to vomit got like shorter and shorter. And it was so unpleasant. But the only 2 things that linked those 3 meals were oysters and caviar.
Oh, God.
I was like, so it must be one of those.
Yeah.
I suspect it's caviar, which is awful because I love caviar. I can
Yeah.
live without oysters, but I love caviar.
Yeah.
Delicious.
But it does make me feel a bit sick to think of eating it.
Oh, God, that's
probably that, yeah.
horrible.
It's just like a
So it's probably
salty
that.
assault.
Yeah.
I'm a
When
very
salt
salty.
isn't enough.
I'm a very
Try caviar.
I'm a very salty person in more ways than one. But I love salt. Yeah.
Are you allergic to anything, Ange?
No.
Have you ever done a
not at all.
food intolerance thing?
No,
Because
never.
my friend did a thing where she was like worked out what she was intolerant to
Right,
and what she
okay.
wasn't, and then she only
Yeah.
eats those specific things. And she's like, I can't eat a carrot because that carrot doesn't function well for me or something.
Oh, my God.
No,
That's
that's too
over-analysing it
Yeah,
too much.
Yeah.
It's a lot. But
I feel like you're friends with Real Housewives. Like it's that kind of kind of level.
No, Real Housewives of Clapton. Yeah. yeah. Let's talk about Friends because we should talk about your book, which you've read. I listened to. Did you read or listen?
Oh,
I read.
You read, Friendaholic.
Thank you.
Which is like, I mean, it's sort of a journey of discovery, and you know, it's your story, but also I think it speaks to. Well, it definitely spoke to me, but it definitely speaks to the reader as well. Makes you think about your own life and reflect on your own life, doesn't it?
Definitely, yeah. You analyse all your friendships in a way.
You do.
Yeah.
Don't
You sort of
do
start
an audit.
looking about who you've lost friendships with and stuff. And it's actually a friend of mine recently died who I went to college with out of the blue.
I'm so sorry.
Thank you. But you know, and it was one of those that we were really great friends at college. Then we lost touch. Then we became really good friends again. Then sort of lost touch, and not for any reason, but it is how life is. And it's not like you suddenly have a fallout and an argument all the time. It's just you go one way, they go another, and you know. But it makes you realise, I think, as you're older, where you value your time. And who you value it with. I think that was the one thing I came out of that book. And I just felt like saying, Elizabeth, please value the right time with the right people.
Oh, thank you for saying that.
Because life is short.
Yeah,
That's
I
the thing.
really appreciate that.
Yeah.
And I think it was a real journey for me writing that book, as well as hopefully being a journey to read. And I'm still a massive work in progress in terms of recovering from my addiction to friendship. So this term, Friendaholic, is something I came up with to describe a particular experience that I had, which is feeling, as a child, I didn't really feel that I belonged anywhere because I grew up in Northern Ireland. I have a very English accent. I didn't fit in. I didn't have a great time at my first secondary school. And so I became manic almost in my pursuit of friendship because it felt safer to be part of a group. But I changed myself in order to fit in rather than being accepted which is for who I am, which is the nature of true belonging. And so for a really long time after that, for decades, it had a knock-on effect, not only with my friendships, but my relationships, where for me, it felt like the most important thing was to work out what they wanted from me and for me to try and provide it. And that, I thought, was friendship. And I got kind of addicted to having more and more friends so that I wouldn't end up on my own feeling like that scared school child again. And it was the pandemic that forced me to confront the fact that I wasn't spending time with the people in my life who I loved the most, who nurtured me the most. And actually they were placing the fewest demands on me because they knew how busy I was, just running around trying to meet other people's needs. And because our diaries emptied out overnight, it made me really understand that the people I missed, the people that I wanted to spend my time with, they probably only amounted to like up to 10 people. And yet here I was trying to maintain every single friendship with every single person I'd ever met and had a connection with to the same level. And I ended up not being a good enough friend to any of them and not being a good enough friend to myself.
And not being happy, I imagine.
And being bloody exhausted.
Exhausted.
Exhausted. And that got me thinking about friendship because friendship, I don't know about you two, but has been profoundly important to me as well, in that it's been the longest, most consistent love of my life. It's seen me through breakups, divorce, infertility, everything. My friends have always been there. And yet, as a culture, we don't examine it enough and we don't think about it enough. We take it for granted and there's no language to express what it means to us. And so there's also no language to say, I love you, but I think our friendship has run its course, which we should be allowed to do.
Yeah, you should be honest.
Yeah, because you can't be friends with everyone. Because if you're friends with everyone, then your friendship has no value. Do you know what I mean? Because there's no discernment.
Yeah, it's a really fascinating book. It really, really is. And
Thank you.
I had it on, like listening to it and had it on into the house, and I didn't know Mish was listening. He was like pottering around. And he was like upstairs and downstairs and blah, blah. And he was like, put it on upstairs as well. So he had it on and he was like, so interesting. He's like, why has no one ever written about this before? Because it sounds like the title, you're like, Friendaholic. And then you're like, it's all about, you know, the need to connect with people. And then and I do it and loads of my friends do it as well, where you like overcommit and you're like, I'll definitely come to your baby shower and your wedding and your birthday. And it's like, all on Saturday, and then you end up not going to one and letting
Yes.
people down, and the journey's gone. And Misha's like, wow, it's really, really fascinating. So if you've not listened or not read, do.
Definitely, yeah.
Definitely
Thank
do.
you.
How do you feel about friends making friends with other friends? Do you
Yeah,
like it? 'Cause I
oh.
like it.
Yeah.
But some
I
people get
actually-
funny about it.
I actually now like it.
Yeah.
I think I went through a phase of feeling very possessive when
Yes.
I was probably less confident in myself.
Yeah.
But I used to be a terrible friend jacker. So I used to just like go and make friends with, and then we would be meeting up without the other friend, and then we're like, should we tell them or
Yeah.
not? And it's a whole thing.
A whole thing.
But I don't mind that now.
Yeah, I quite like it now.
Yeah.
I think in my 20s I'd have like FOMO of it. I mean, like, but
Yeah.
oh,
Yes.
Jesus Christ!
That is some.
Wow,
well
champagne power there. Wow.
Delish.
Oh, this looks so good.
One of the things I wanted to ask you, Angela.
Oh, God.
Do you think you're an introvert?
I don't think I'm an introvert. I think I can be shy on occasion.
Okay.
Believe it or not, I can be. If I don't feel confident in the people.
Yeah.
But I don't, even though I'm doing a podcast, I'm on TV, I don't strive for the attention. I do TV.
Just the money.
Yeah.
To fill the restaurants, not because
Yes.
I want fame.
Yeah.
Whereas
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are on TV, and I'm thinking there's probably quite a few chefs that are on TV because they want the fame.
Which
Yeah.
ones exactly?
But do you think everyone
Like
wants
Gordon
to do it for
Ramsay.
like
Gordon Ramsay.
validation? So they're like, oh, look, like me.
Well, that's
yeah.
Instagram,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah.
That's sort of, anyway, don't get
Yeah.
me started
This
on
looks
that nonsense.
amazing.
That's
And
Angela, this looks
smells even better.
fantastic and
Bon
smells
appetit.
so good.
Thank you so
So we're having raw shaved fennel and crab with
Yep.
lemon and olive oil by Julius Roberts.
Yep.
It looks fantastic. It smells amazing as well.
I'm so happy.
This
does look good, actually.
It looks. Don't sound surprised.
No, but I'm just looking down. That looks
You
very
cooked
nice.
it.
Like that.
It smells fantastic.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell us that this was really easy and we can make this at home?
You really could,
Really?
yeah. So you've got shaved fennel, chicory, mint, parsley and dill, fresh lemon juice, lemon rind, touch of garlic, touch of chilli, and I've put a little bit of cayenne pepper. We've got white crab on top and underneath brown crab that I've just mixed with a bit of the vinaigrette. And that's
That is
it.
so good.
And you
That
can
is
have a
so
little bread
tasty.
and butter with it if you like.
I love crab.
The cayenne pepper that's the thing that gives it.
Yeah.
I just feel it's so
Gives it a bit of
citrusy, but
spice.
it's delicious.
Yeah, you need that little bit of kick.
Angela's got a good group of friends though, because
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
went round for like lunch before
Yeah.
Christmas,
Yeah.
and Mish, my boyfriend, couldn't come, so everyone that was going was. Of course, it was in Angela's house. Angela's friends. So I was like, oh, I'm going to have to go on my own. Like I was 6 or something. And everyone was amazing. Like, so great. And dead chatty and dead easy. It's a good gang.
So nice.
A
Yeah.
really good gang.
But then it is that whole thing about we laugh. I was making Claire laugh before. I was talking about a friend of mine who nicknames Denise. Because she always says to me, you answer your text like a bloke.
Oh my God.
Because I will literally be, she'll go, how are you? What are you up to? I'll go, yeah, all good.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
that will
you
be it.
do.
You know, and it was like, yes, no.
Yeah.
And so now I always do that. Hi, Denise, how are you? How's
Yeah.
Henry? How's the dog? How are the... She's like, all right,
Yeah.
now you're just taking the piss.
You've done ones like that where I've said to Angela, like, really miss you, can't wait to see you on Thursday. And she goes, yep.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow. Not yet. And then a few days later I'll get, miss you. And I'm like, oh, forget it.
So are you good at
Forget
not?
it.
You don't put kisses on like work emails and stuff.
Well, I do certain times, but you know
Okay.
who taught me not to? Robin. Our mutual friend,
Oh,
Mr. Hudson.
I
Because
love
Robin
Robin
is
and
so...
Judy so much.
Because I was one time, I did something and we were laughing about it. I said, yeah, I put a kiss on that. He goes, Angela, work emails? No. He's
No
very
kisses?
like,
Oh,
yeah, send
really?
me an effervescent, hi, Ange, you coming over? Me and Judy come and say, kiss, 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 Rob. Work, it's just an art, that's it, straight to the point.
Yeah.
But also, the other thing he's taught me, which I think is genius and I love to this day, is that we were all in an email thread and he goes, you can take me out of this email now thread. And now I do that. If
Oh,
I get
also
CC'd
got that
into
one.
thing, I'm like, I don't need to be CC'd in that. So I go, take me out of this thread. Did one earlier on. Take me out of this thread.
I've also
Do not-
seen that one.
Yeah.
That is such a power move. I'm obsessed
Isn't it?
with it.
Oh, yeah, you've got
But if
to.
you don't need
Yeah.
to be in it, you don't need to be in it.
And people CC nonsense, ridiculousness.
I'm just going to start doing that even
Yeah.
on chains that I'm not involved in.
Yeah. Just email someone.
Reply all.
Yeah, reply
Take me
all.
off this.
So raw fennel and chicory could be quite bitter together. How have you managed to balance it all out so it's not like...
Well, because we've got that sweetness from the crab. And you don't use a bitter olive oil. You use a sort of smooth olive oil. Because sometimes you get olive oils that are quite peppery and quite strong. So use a smooth one as well. And I think, and that's why I put the brown crab meat with a bit of spice at the bottom.
It's good.
Because that sort of balances it up as well.
Do you think every household should have 2 olive oils then? So one peppery and one smooth?
Oh, I mean, I have a basic sort of bog standard one that I use for a lot of things, but we do have other ranges of olive oils. And actually, I'm ridiculous because I keep them all like, let's keep these olive oils. And Neil just goes and grabs one that I've had for 6 months, not touched at all, opens it. Oh my God. So actually, you should use everything, to be honest. But I do have a bog standard one, and then we have a fancy one to finish.
Okay.
We don't buy that especially, but we get given lots of olive oil, so always keep the fancy one.
Fancy ones, yeah. It
You're
smells
really
really
treating
good.
me.
We are.
This is fab.
Champagne, crab, and a vodka martini.
I know, on a Friday
On a Friday
afternoon.
Do I have
afternoon.
to sleep with you?
No, I mean,
No,
Because I'm
like
up for it. This threesome is
down.
what I want to be in.
You're there.
all it took was a bit of crab.
Yeah.
That was it.
Very easy.
If you want to try this recipe or any of the recipes, go online, waitrose.com/dish recipes. But this is a real winner.
And
of
this is
of
a
dish.
Julius Roberts recipe, not Julia.
Now we need to talk about food likes because you and Angela are quite akin, basically, very aligned. in this.
Marvellous. I'm happy with that.
Correct me if I'm wrong, because I've run through this list. You both love anything salty,
Yes.
anything cheesy,
Yes.
pasta fans,
Yes.
a cheese board over a dessert.
100%.
Oh, all the time.
Pinot Noir is the wine of choice.
Yes,
Yes.
but New World. Sorry, a New World Pinot.
Oh, in Australia, New Zealand.
I like a Californian. That's
Oh
my
no,
top
I like
favourite.
a Californian.
Okay,
Yeah,
great.
no,
Okay.
I'm good for that.
What's
yeah.
I know the difference is geographical, but also, the
Aren't they?
soil.
Are they
the-
heavier or
what's-
lighter?
Yes, I
heavier.
find
The
they
Americans.
heavier, yeah.
They are they're more alcoholic, I feel, and more hearty.
probably
Oh, that's probably why.
Yeah, but it's good.
probably
I love
why.
a good
Swinging on
Pinot
a
Noir,
bottle.
though. Yeah, oh, very
So
nice.
good.
I feel our night's already out. Let's just go to the French house. Neil, Pinot and cheese, please, now.
Oh my God, shall we
let's
just go out after this?
Heaven,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Shall
Why
we all
not?
actually just go out?
Yeah.
Oh my
Pass
God,
the
yes.
I
fans.
really started today being like, yep, still not drinking.
Yeah.
A martini at 5. I want to see if there's anything that you guys don't agree on.
Yes.
How do we feel about the following things? Elizabeth,
Yeah.
a Sunday evening dinner plan. Someone invites you out for dinner with a
No.
friend on a Sunday. Is that a no?
Absolutely
Is
not.
that a
Sorry,
hard
yeah.
no?
My God, I actually recoiled
Yeah,
at the
you
idea.
really, offended.
Actually, okay, my caveat on that is if it's one of my core group of 5 friends and they come over or I go to theirs and we get a Deliveroo or takeaway, and it's super chilled. That's like, but I don't want to go out on a Sunday evening.
Ange,
We don't go out, but we will have people over
on a Sunday.
on a Sunday. Yeah.
Garlic sauce for a pizza crust.
No.
Like to dip into.
Yeah, would you dip a pizza crust? You don't look like a pizza crust dipper.
Well, I actually am.
Right.
Oh.
But let me again give the context.
Okay.
I can't believe Justin agrees with that.
No.
He's the one who got me into it.
No, I
I'm
don't
sorry.
believe
I'm
that.
sorry.
Okay.
I just tell the
Well,
truth.
let's say to your
Not the body side, not the body
Baraka.
side.
I
Yeah.
cannot believe he's gone to the Baraka in Bardi.
What's the Baraka?
It's this lovely pizzeria and had a garlic dip. I shall be.
No,
Yeah.
to be fair, it's if we.
Domino's.
Yeah.
It's my favorite.
yeah.
It's my
Yeah.
favorite pizza. Okay.
Okay.
So if we've had a night out,
It was going so well.
and often what happens, like if I do a live show of my podcast and then I come back and it's been like really exhilarating and I'm on an adrenaline high and we're a bit tipsy, we'll come back home and order a Domino's. And the Domino's order of choice, I'm actually like getting.
Oh my God! If you say pineapple, I'm
No,
walking
don't
out.
worry, don't
no,
worry.
Okay,
She'll leave.
luckily.
It's
I will leave.
I like
it's
it.
a vegetarian Domino's, but with pepperoni.
Okay, yeah, that
Perfect.
could work. Yeah.
So we get
But is
that.
it thick?
Yes, and then we'll get garlic sauce and dip the crust in. But it's a very specific context, so I wouldn't normally do that. It has to be a specific set of circumstances, and you
I-
feel like Shane the next day.
Yeah, I love the same. I'm with you.
Thank you.
Like late night, Domino's. Oh,
I've never had a Domino's pizza in my life.
my God, please let me take
Angela!
you.
Yes.
I've never.
Why
ever.
don't we do a YouTube series and we'll take you to like Greg's and
Yes.
stuff? Yeah. Now let's talk about your hugely successful podcast, How to Fail, which has been going since like 2018. Yeah. How did it come about? Because it's a genius concept.
Yeah.
Thank you.
How did it come to light? What made you want to do it?
It was a number of things. My background was in print journalism, and so I was often sent to interview celebrities who had something to promote. And I got very used to asking the usual questions and then writing it up in the usual formulaic way, where there's a little potted biography, and then they talk about how wonderful it was to work with so and so and so and so.
Yeah.
But any time I veered off that path, or I asked them a question about their childhoods or or a time that something went wrong, I would try and write it up, but my editor would very often cut it out. And so that was happening in the background. And then in my personal life, I felt like a failure. So I got to 38, and my 30s had been a decade of intense transition where I had got married to the wrong person. I'd got divorced. I tried and failed to have children, and I had unsuccessful IVF and the first of 3 miscarriages. And then post-divorce, trying to rebuild my life, I got into this new relationship that I had much more hope for. And I felt like I've learned a lot and I've made different decisions. And I had, but that relationship ended for me very out of the blue just before my 39th birthday. And it was the lowest point, really, because at that stage I was just confronted with the truth of where I was as opposed to where I thought I would be at that age. And I felt like a failure, and I didn't know what to do about it. And I wanted to ask other people about failure and their feelings of failure and how they got through it. And I went to LA, which is where I tend to go. It's like a happy place for me. And I tend to go when I go through a life crisis. And I went there for a month, and I was listening to a lot of podcasts because I couldn't listen to any music because it was too upsetting. Apart from Kesha praying, where I was like, yes, Kesha!
Yeah, big tune.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I started listening to a lot of podcasts for the first time, and I listened to Esther Perel, Where Should We Begin? And I loved it. And it really made me understand that it was a space where you could have these very intimate conversations. And so that's how it happened. And I'm so grateful that it happened that way.
And I think it's such a good time when you think like post 2018. I guess before that, people really weren't willing to talk about things that had gone wrong. Or definitely not famous people being like, this was really shit.
Yeah.
Whereas now, you know, it's I mean, weird to say, but there's like comfort in hearing other people's failures. Because you're like, oh my God, yeah.
Well, it feels real and honest.
You're a donut too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It was that thing of, we see all these people like shimmering gods on the red carpet, but actually they've had times of real struggle where they didn't think they were going to make it.
Yeah.
And that makes you, I hope, as a listener, feel better and feel like you can get through what you're going through too. And that was very much the kind of premise of it.
You've had incredible people and amazing people. Is there anyone that you're like, I would love to chat to them about this?
I would love to chat to Dr. Dre because I love 90s hip hop.
Yeah.
And he is someone who has made some really bad life choices as well as being a musical genius. And I think if he were willing to come and be open about the times that he did make the wrong decisions and made bad choices, I think that would be phenomenal. I also love Michael Jordan, the basketball player.
Yeah, amazing.
Partly because I watched The Last Dance.
Yeah,
like everyone else in
we all
lockdown.
did, yeah.
Yeah, and he has said some incredible stuff about failure, about training. So 99 times he'll miss the shot, but everyone remembers the 100th time he gets it. I think he'd be incredible. Gareth Southgate is someone I would love to have
he'd
on.
be brilliant,
because he has turned his own personal failure and being
which
an
was
object,
the penalty,
and I remember that penalty being missed. I remember it so vividly, into this incredible story of, and I saw Dear England and loved it.
Oh, it's amazing.
Joseph
I cried.
Fiennes. It was
I was
so
in tears.
brilliant, and I'm not a huge theatre fan. Dear England was excellent.
Genius.
I didn't even realise it was Joseph Fiennes until my mate Ross was like, Joseph Fiennes is good, isn't he? I was like, what? I was like, he's amazing.
We're watching a play.
You should read it out.
Okay, we come to the end of the show question. It's kind of a pitch. We're new to the podcasting world. We're about to hit 2 in a couple of weeks, months.
Hit 2 what?
Years.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
2 episodes.
Well, I was like, 2 what?
2
We're on
years. 2
season
years.
4.
Nearly 2 years.
Okay.
So we want to just get a pitch in with, you know, a demigod of the
Yes.
podcasting world. This is from us and the Dish team. Dear Elizabeth, we're in awe of your success, and as a production team, we'd love to get in on the action. It's a pitch, okay? Here are 3 ideas for your next podcast.
Yeah.
Which one would you green light?
Okay.
We've got How to Sail.
Yes.
How to email.
Yes.
How to eat kale.
Oh my God, amazing.
Which one do you see? Because
Do you know what?
sail, I guess, could be like a journey through, I don't know, Indonesia with Elizabeth Day. How to sail.
I was thinking of like a former Apprentice contestant because I didn't know how it was spelled. I was like, how to sail.
Sail.
Yes.
We could do that.
Yes.
That's
How
also
to
on
sell,
there.
yes.
Yeah.
Very
That
good.
would be good.
How to sail a house.
Yes, yeah. Take the martini away from her. Yes.
Okay, I've sunk it already. For me personally, how to email, because I think there's so much that you can learn from email etiquette. And I think that would actually be a great podcast because you could also get into the whole humour of someone who accidentally presses reply all.
Yeah.
So how to email has my vote. However, how to kale there is a space in the market for as well.
Yes.
Because that could also be how to eat healthy.
Yes.
How to add that into your daily diet.
Also good work.
But I'm going with
I
how
think
to
the email.
Yeah, email's much better,
All right,
yeah.
we've sold it. Yeah. You win the Waitrose goodie
thank
bag.
goodness.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's the only
Elizabeth
reason
Day,
I came
thank you
on.
for coming round to see us.
Yes.
That was amazing. A
Thank
round of
you.
applause for our guest this afternoon, Elizabeth Day. That was
Thank
so
you.
fun.
I
You were amazing.
loved it.